Welcome everybody to another video, and this video is probably the biggest, most important video so far. So I've seen the comment section, I've seen the Discord, I've seen the memes, and everyone's making jokes that I get distracted easily, that I don't do any MSQ, that I mess around too much, and you know, you're kind of right. I've been streaming on Twitch for the last few days, 3 or 4 days, for like 6 hours, hard push on the MSQ, till like 1 and 2 a.m. in the morning, and you know what? A Realm Reborn, I've completed it. Welcome to part 18. You heard it right, no clickbait, no bamboozle. A Realm Reborn is complete. So it's been a big push, I'll be honest, for the last like 3 days, like long streams, focusing purely on ARR pretty much, just because the story got so good and so involved that I really just couldn't stop playing it. And I normally stream like every other day or like 3 days a week, but I just went again, day after day after day, 3 days in a row. And on the final stream, I just wouldn't go to bed. It was just so good. I had to see it through to the end. So yeah, we finished it. So let's catch you all up. There's a few dungeons, a few trials maybe, and then the big finale. So obviously, spoilers will be pretty big here. If you've not finished ARR, maybe this one maybe you need to take a pause on this one until you've caught up. But let's get into part 18. Have you ever wanted to play an MMORPG but with the relaxing, atmospheric sounds of Minecraft? Then Snowcloak might be just the dungeon for you. This is the most chill, relaxing, and just peaceful dungeon I think I've ever done. There's so much going on, there's so many cool fights, but the music just really made me want to run it again as soon as it finished. And everything here was like heavily ice themed. So the premise was you were running through this tight, icy cavern looking for a woman known as Iceheart, who you believed had links to summoning in the next Primal. Anyone who's played any Final Fantasy game ever will know what Primal that probably is. If you've seen the first Primals, Iceheart is a quick leap to what that's going to be. So yeah, you progress through here. I thought we would fight something really like a version of Iceheart at the end, but that's not the case. Somehow you fight something even cooler. You fight Fenrir. So if you know anything about Norse mythology, he's very much linked to the end of the world, Ragnarok. He was the one who would challenge the gods. So Fenrir is really, really cool monster. Basically this big, evil, world-ending wolf. I don't know if that's what they've based it off, but the name alone and that it's a wolf, I made that connection. But yeah, the fight was pretty cool. He does these big like frozen winds that you've got to get out of. He does these blasts on the floor. There was nothing too spicy here. One thing that was really cool was when he does this second one, so the second ice blast, he leaves an icicle. And this was the same mechanic as what you saw in Crystal Tower on Behemoth, where you had to get behind the meteor. You basically, he charges up for a big thing called Lunar Cry. You have to get behind the crystal for protection, and then he'll blast out everywhere, but if you're protected. So you get behind there, survive the attack, and then you go back in. Really cool seeing. I don't mind a mechanic reused like that when it's different. It was the same, but different, you know, because, you know, it was a meteor and a big AoE, and there it was like an ice blast, so you have to get behind an icicle. I like that. It's a good use of the same mechanic, but making it different enough, and you could connect the dots of what was about to happen because you've seen a similar thing before. So I really, really like this boss. I think as ARR progresses, the dungeons have got better and better and better, and yeah, this is no different. This was a solid, fun dungeon, and with the most relaxing soundtrack ever. And then the quest takes you to Gridania a little bit later, and you know, you're hunting for this traitor, and I was looking at the rewards, and you know, you got this thing, looks pretty cool looking outfit, kind of liked it. Had a look at the other one, yeah, like a pretty cool healer's robe. Let's have a look at the third option that he's going to offer us as a quest reward, shall we? What is this? What is this? Why is it like an erect cattail? I don't get it. Is there a meme here? Is this like, I don't know. I streamed this live on Twitch. I'll link that down below if you want to come hang out. And we were laughing at this for like 5 minutes. So confused by this. I don't know why anyone would ever take this. I may have took this out of curiosity. And then I met one of my favorite characters, I think, so far ever. Moonbrayer, I think her name is. What an absolute legend. This is such a cool character. Reminds me so much of Natalie Dormer in Hunger Games as well. So obviously I was a huge fan of Moonbrayer. And then the pursuit for Iceheart comes to its end. You chase her down to a trial. And for those of you who knew who this is, it's obviously the Ice Primal Shiva. If you didn't know, here it is. Really, really epic. And the best bit is the summon animation is even the same as the old Final Fantasy games with the face in the crystal. Absolutely awesome. This is such a good, like, oh, just incredible. Just incredible. I'm just going to shut up and show you. This is one of the only Primal fights where we didn't turn on minimum item level, so some of the mechanics were a bit lost on me here because we did get her down really quick. This was a really fast fight, but generally she summoned like some big ice monsters. There was one really cool part where as you get her health quite far down, she does like this cold snap and like freezes everyone and then moves into a second phase, which was really cool. I wasn't expecting that, nor the epic mix-up of music in phase 2. I currently have this soundtrack, like this orchestral roll, playing non-stop in my personal house in the Goblet. Literally, I love this song. I don't know why. This second phase song is just so high energy. So, I don't know, it's kind of throwback to like 90s pop punk pop. I don't know. I really, really like it. Amazing song. Amazing fight. Just keeps getting better, doesn't it, really? No words. And then after the fight, so normally in the Primal fights, you fight the Primal, you kill it, and then the creatures that summoned it just go off and you kind of tie off that story. You don't really, their story is just over and you move on to the next part of the story, the next Primal fights. Iceheart doesn't end. She gets away, which is so strange because I think that's the first time that's happened. I think so. So yeah, Iceheart is still out there, still could be causing problems, which is really, really cool. And then I never really understood how the waifu, the retainer system worked. So I've had the 2 retainers for a while, and I just used them to sell stuff really. And then I was live on stream, and I said, "What do I do with these retainers?" And people were showing me what to do. So I started working on giving them a class and getting them actually doing something useful. Which is probably, maybe I shouldn't have waited so long to do this. Maybe I should have done it a while ago, but we're here now. So I turned my cat girl into a lancer to be just like me because I thought that was pretty fun. And then went and got her a lance, equipped that, and she was ready to send out on missions. I didn't really know which one to send her on, so I sent her on like the 18-hour one, just in case I missed the 1-hour one. Maybe not the best thing to do, I'm not sure. I didn't give her any other equipment for now, I just put the weapon on her and sent her out. And then for the other one, so for my bunny retainer, I turned her into a fisher. Of course, because they're like my 2 highest jobs, Lancer and Fisher, for some reason. So yeah, I sent them both out on missions for 18 hours, and I'm finally going to start working on leveling up that system. I probably should have done this a long time ago. And then you have this very small but very important and like critically simple, critically subtle cutscene where the 3 female leaders meet up and they discuss what's going to happen going forward. And the leader of Uldar says that she's going to basically step down and turn remove the class system and turn them into like a democracy kind of thing. And this, if you haven't finished ARR, now is probably the time to stop with this video because you're going to see some huge spoilers going forward from here. And then the story just gets turned up to 11. So I've always been able to stop and start the story whenever I want, really. Like, I don't feel too obligated to keep playing. But from here, I could not stop. Every time I logged into the game, I was just drawn to the MSQ. I just wanted to see where it went from here. It gripped me. And that's why normally this video would probably have had the story end here, and I'd have done loads of side content. But I could not pull myself away from the MSQ. So here we're doing the Keeper of the Lake, which was a mission to go look for this ancient worm, this big dragon that hasn't been seen for years and years, who's at the top of this big frozen shipwreck. Like space shipwreck, air shipwreck. So yeah, this was a phenomenal dungeon again. The dungeon itself was like average. The dungeon wasn't anything special, but the cutscene at the end blew my mind. So you've got this one boss here, which is like a bird with like ram horns and a Gatling gun for some reason. And there's basically these big containers, and you've got to push the containers out of the way, because if she blows up the containers, it causes like massive damage. So the tank here did a great job of just facing her away all the time, while the DPS healers, mostly like the ranged DPS, would push the tanks out of the way. I thought this fight was really good, but I think it would have been not better, but I think it would have been, there would have been more to it if it was like a novice new team. Like the tank knew his shit, so he was like all over it. If you didn't know what you were doing, I imagine there would have been a lot of problems on this fight, because yeah, there were a lot of tanks got dropped during that fight. And then you progress to the next boss, and the hardest part about this boss, the mechanics themselves, the fight themselves was fine, but he would spit out this this fuel, this burning fuel, and it just made your area smaller and smaller until you're literally fighting in a square. So again, if your tank isn't on it here, like putting them in the right direction, doing the right thing, taking them to the right place, I imagine this would have been insane. We actually found it quite hard, but our healer and tank were just so like, there was just like so much synergy between them that this was really smooth. And then you fight the final boss, which is a version of the ancient dragon. And as you're fighting him, he revives these two big like sleeping dragons, or like dead dragons or something. I'm not sure if these were actually alive or real, or they were like spirits, because they were like glowing the whole time. But yeah, you fight these two like dragon mirages whilst fighting the big dragon who's doing like these massive attacks. This was an epic fight. It was really, really cool. I didn't actually think the dragon would be here. I thought it'd be the same as like Iceheart, where you get to the end and there's some other dragon there, but you actually do fight this ancient worm, or like the head of him. Really, really cool. And then the stupid bird with the machine gun turns up as well. And then this cutscene just completely threw me off. I was not expecting this. He basically says, I can't hurt you and I can't kill you, but I can do this. And he fires this laser straight through your heart. And man, I thought this was like, obviously you're not dead. I thought he was going to like put some sort of like spirit in you, or like put some sort of power in you. I thought he was going to do something. Not this. So you probably spend about 50 plus hours collecting all these crystals all throughout the game, killing the primals, and getting the Warrior of Light, becoming the Warrior of Light and getting the blessing. And in an instant, this dragon, just to show his power and just to strip you of yours, takes it all away. Crystal by crystal, they dim out and go dark, and they lose their power. And as they do that, you lose your connection to Hydaelyn, which is, it's a twist I could never have predicted. It's a twist I never would have imagined, and it's such a cool part of the game, because with the Hydaelyn, you always feel like you have the plot armor. You always feel like, obviously you're the main character, so you're not going to die, but you always feel a little bit invincible, a little bit superior to everyone around you, because you're this Warrior of Light. And here, you're stripped down to a normal person. Obviously, you've still got power, and you're still really, you're still cool, but you don't have that Warrior of Light Hydaelyn blessing anymore, which I really, really appreciated, and I was not expecting. And then you get this dragon pet who basically will just spawn at random points in the story and will taunt you. He's basically the dragon. I don't know if he's the dragon's kid or like the dragon's spirit, but he will come like a version of the dragon, but he'll come out at random times in the story, and he'll progress the story or add ill input to the story. So whenever there's like something involving the dragons, he'll get involved. And it's a really cool touch. I banished him and no longer get him out as my minion because I find him really annoying. On stream, someone told us about a casino that had opened up on Twintania. So of course we headed over to there. And this was a really cool place. You could there was like these little like gambling events you could do, just like this fun like role play gambling you could do, like blackjack and poker and stuff like that. So we went over, a few of us, and we just had a laugh and we just had a bit of fun here. And it was a really cool place. So I think I've shown a nightclub the other day, which was, it was literally just music, nightclub, dancing. This was different because you could interact more. There was like a bar, and there's like an upstairs high stakes VIP high roller table and stuff. Really cool idea. And the place was full. Obviously when me and all the stream turned up, it got a little bit more full though. More full? Fuller. It got fuller. And then yeah, we just chilled out a bit here. It was a really cool place. Really, really cool. You can see it's a casino with like a little stage. Really, really cool idea. I think what players can do in this game to create like their own space and like their own events, like obviously the game gives you a few tools, but the creativity of the players is just amazing. Pray return to the Rising Stones. And then one of my favorite characters, Moonbraider, gives a little speech on how the Ascians work and just like how they're planning to kill them. It's Basically, you trap them in this crystal that we talked about in the last episode, and then you blast them with a big force of aether to kill them. And then they can no longer respawn in between the two worlds. They'll just go straight to being dead, basically. And that's the plan, to get rid of them. And then putting the plan into action, you go to the next raid, which is the Chrysalis. So you follow Minfilia through the portal. She's been captured by the Scion, the Ascian. So you have to go in and fight him. This area looks incredible. I was absolutely drawn by the darkness at the end of Crystal Tower, like the world of the dead. Well, I think it's called something like that. And yeah, you get the same vibe here, like this dark portal realm. It's so cool. I really like it. I hope we get to see more of the Ascians in this world. It gives me big Kingdom Hearts vibes, like of the big, like, overcloaked people. I'm sure Square Enix have got some sort of tie in there, or they've just inspired by it. I don't know. But there's massive, with the big, like, all the seats around as well. Massive Kingdom Hearts vibes. I love this area, and I hope there's more stuff in areas like this. A huge fan. The fight itself was okay. It wasn't too difficult, but it was really, like, the atmosphere was spot on. The mechanics was mostly he teleports around and there's these big massive, like, channels, so don't get hit by them. I don't think anyone got hit, so we never really saw what that did. I'm guessing it's big damage. And then there'd be these big balls going towards him, these big orbs, and you had to go and stand in front of them to avoid them getting to him. But like I say, like, the team were on it, so we never really encountered any trouble. Like, you saw, like, he just did massive damage to everyone, and the healers got everyone back up in seconds. So yeah, we really just breezed through this. And there was a second phase, I think, as well, where you go into, like, this underdark world, and you have to the tank kind of ate a meteor. Yeah, that happened. And then you had to take out these rift tiers, and then you could go back through to the original fight you were in. Really cool idea. I want to see this on increased difficulty, though, because I want to see more of the mechanics, and I want to see them do more damage, because this was a really cool fight. And then it was time to kill the Ascian. You had the granddaddy staff, and you trapped him in the crystal. Everything was in place, but you just didn't have enough ether. And then one of my favorite characters steps forward and sacrifices herself. This hit me pretty hard. This was a really sad moment. I really like this character. I thought she was really cool. She brought a lot of humor and fun and character to the Scions, which, when you're around Minfilia, you need a bit of that. She just lightened the mood a lot. Kind of like how Thancred does. I really liked her. And yeah, for this to happen, super sad. I wish I could say this was the saddest part of the day, but it got worse. And it's weird having such an epic moment like this, but you just feel sad. Because yeah, the first Ascian dead, I believe, really incredible. I don't know, they really know how to hit your emotions, like happiness, excitement, suspense, and sadness, like all in the space of like a couple of minutes. Amazing, absolutely amazing storytelling. And then the final piece of content really in ARR and the lead up to Heavensward, the dragons are attacking, and it's time to defeat them. And it's time to stand with Ishgard against the dragons. This was a pretty cool one. I'm going to be honest, this wasn't my favorite trial. I didn't like kind of the mechanic side rather than like the personal difficulty side. Like, I mean, you've got to go up in a tower and fire a cannon at it, and you've got to stand under it. There wasn't really any challenge here, and we just kind of breezed through it. I mean, you get attacked by that. I quickly learned that don't stand under the feet, but I don't know, it's very different. He just walks up and down and you got to shoot him with cannons. It didn't feel like the other trials. I don't know if this is something they try, like different things all the time. It's nice to do something different and unique, but it's not like the other trials. It's so unique that I don't think it's one I'd want to do again, but yeah, it's different and it's fun. So it's cool to fight a big dragon, obviously, but it felt more like a story, an action story piece of content, and like you're a passenger and you're watching, rather than a difficult primal trial like the normal ones. But yeah, it's cool. It's cool. Dragons, right? And then Nanamo is about to do something really brave and strong. She's going to go in and just make this big sacrifice to help Uldar. She's going to change the regime of the leadership in Uldar, and she wants your support. Will you be there for her? Will you help her? Can she trust you? And it felt really special here, like finally gaining the trust of this Lala and this leader, and she kind of was finally showing her leadership skills, which you hadn't really seen much. So I thought that was really good character development for Nanamo, and I was really happy at this point. this hit so hard, so graphic, so intense, and so unexpected. This really did hit home. I was really a bit shooketh after this. It really did mess me up a little bit. Yeah, I was doing this live on stream, and I think I just went silent for like a couple of minutes. Yeah, but the sadness, and I was really upset, turned to anger so quickly. I've never been so frustrated than right here. I think like until like from like watching like Game of Thrones and the big twists in that, it had the same impact. And then instantly this guy, I was losing my mind. I was losing my mind. He basically blames you for poisoning her.
You did this.
Oh, just watching it back gets me angry. But I instantly gained a new favorite character and gained a new hero, the Raging Bull, Ruban. Absolutely love this guy after this scene. This was And then I'm nervous for adding any more cutscenes because there was like an hour of cutscenes I was watching on Twitch live. And yeah, I don't just want to show them all because this video will be like an hour long. But basically what started happening was 1 by 1 or 2 by 2, the Scions started staying behind and sacrificing themselves so you and Tataru and Alphenor could get out. And it was sad. The main issue now is I don't know whether to mourn or to stay hopeful, because it looked like they all stayed back to die and they were all in like a really dark place, but you don't know if they've survived it. You don't know what's happened, or if like there's some fluke, or you know, Heidelin's got them out, or if there's some weird way they got out. So right now it's just like limbo and I don't know what's going to happen. But overall, Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Reborn has been incredible. The story has just been so good. I don't want to say, I was almost said flawless, but it has had its really weak moments. Around the level 30 to 40, and then post ARR, like 2.1, 2.2, were really weak. But everything else was just top quality. And the further you got, the more it picked up. And the story right now, coming towards the, coming to the end of ARR and the start of Heavensward, has me fully hooked. All I want to do is go start Heavensward. And I've not had that yet. And since Praetorium, right at the very end of 2.0, it had me like that. And it's got me again. And that's a sign of a really good story, right? If it's all you want to do, like if I'm not playing it, I'm thinking about playing it. If I'm doing like leveling a healer or doing some side content, I'm thinking, I really want to see what the next story mission is. And that's just a sign that the story's got you really hooked. I'm thinking about maybe making a separate video, just like my thoughts on ARR, because I feel like this video's gone on long enough. And I'm also going to react to like the Heavensward trailer and put that up as well. That should be quite short. But yeah, overall, ARR has been so good. It's better than I ever thought it would be. Apologies, it's took me 18 episodes to get through it. I get easily distracted, and there's just so much other stuff in this game that I just had to try everything. And apologies. Hopefully now the story's really on a steamroll. And, I have done a lot of side content. I will do more story going forward, promise. I do want to get to Endwalker before it comes out. But yeah, thank you so much for sticking with this series. It's been a long one. It's been fun. It does not stop here. We're going to continue. I might start it again and call it like Part 1, Heavensward. Yeah, just so new people can join from there. But thank you so much. I'm going to be streaming tonight, the day 1 of Heavensward, taking the very first quests in Heavensward, going to Ishgard. So yeah, if you want to come along to watch live, I'll link my Twitch down below. Other than that, thank you all so much for all your support. Have a great day, take care, and I'll catch you in the next one.